everyone. Thanks so much for joining Intro to Yoga, Yoga 101. I'm Tracy. I'm here with my trusty assistant, Django. I might be his assistant though, I'm not really sure. Just fair warning, he's very likely to cause some shenanigans as we go through the practice today. So if you're new to yoga, welcome. The most important thing to remember is to focus on your breathing. So if you find as you're going through the practice that your breathing's becoming a little shallow or you're struggling a little bit, it means you're working too hard and you need to not do that. So you might have heard the expression at the gym, no pain, no gain. In yoga, we say no pain, no pain. So you want to be mindful about what's going on in your body today. If something doesn't feel good, if one of the poses that I'm leading you through doesn't feel good in your body, don't do it. I'm not going to be offended. I can't see you anyways. So just be mindful about how you're feeling in your body today. No one's gonna play fetch with you. Oh, my dog is crazy. So he's not at all distracting. So as you're going through the practice, just be mindful of your movement and your breath. Okay, so we're gonna start seated, making yourself nice and comfortable. And I like to just start with a very short meditation. So oftentimes we come to the mat and we're bringing our to-do list with us, and we don't want to do that. We want to kind of let that go and let go of any distractions that might be going on around you. So just starting to make yourself comfortable, coming within, perhaps closing the eyes. We're going to start with 3 breaths. So inhaling the arms up, taking a nice deep breath in, and exhale, sigh it all out through the mouth. And inhaling in, bringing the arms up towards the sky. And exhaling, sighing it all out. Starting to feel relaxed with each breath. And one more time, inhaling the arms up and sighing it all out. And just perhaps placing the hands in the lap, keeping the eyes closed, focusing on your own natural breath. I like to start my class with a little reading. And this is from Louise Hay. In the infinity of my life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I see any resistance patterns within me only as something else to release. They have no power over me. I am the power in my world. I flow with the changes taking place in my life as best I can. I approve of myself and the way that I am changing. I am doing the best that I can. Each day gets easier. I rejoice that I am now in the rhythm and flow of my ever-changing life. Today is a wonderful day. I choose to make it so. All is well in my world. So when you're ready, slowly opening the eyes. Still focusing on your natural breath. We're going to start with just a few simple shoulder rolls. So if you've been sitting in front of the computer all day, this can help release some of the tension, and I can feel that there's a lot of tightness in my shoulders. And when you're ready, just coming back to center. We're going to do some very gentle neck stretches. Again, if we've been sitting at our computers, our necks can feel quite tense. So just gently turning the head to the right. And so we're not wrenching our necks to check our blind spot here. We're just gently turning the head And inhale, coming back to center and turning the head to the right, left. And gently coming back to center. And then slowly looking down towards the ground. And coming back to center. And exhale, gently looking up towards the sky. And gently coming back to center. We're going to look down towards our right shoulder, so bringing your nose down to your right shoulder. Just gently looking towards that shoulder. And inhale, coming back to center, and then gently looking towards the left shoulder. Trying to point the nose down towards that shoulder. I feel my neck muscles waking up, gently coming back to center. And we're going to look up into the sky off to the right, like we're checking out a cool bird flying by. And coming back to center, and then looking up towards the sky in the opposite direction. And coming back to center. Let's take a nice inhale. Inhaling the arms up, reaching towards the sky, waking up the arm muscles here. We're going to let the arms fall to the right, coming into a gentle twist. And once again, just taking everything nice and slow and trying to still keep, rather than slouching into the pose, trying to make sure we're still sitting up nice and tall. And it might mean that you can't twist quite as far, and that's okay. Still focusing on that breath. And when you're ready, inhaling the arms up. And exhale, letting the arms come down to the left, finding that gentle twist. Trying to make sure we're still sitting up nice and tall. And coming back to center. Let's inhale the arms up once again. And letting the right hand come down to the ground. I'm going to move this little ball out of the way without distracting the dog. And we're going to take a little side bend here. So we're trying to keep the heart shining towards the sky. So coming into a nice little side bend here. Keeping the chest open to the sky. Still trying to maintain full deep breaths. So if that means you're here, that's okay. And inhale, coming back to center, letting the left hand come down to the ground and taking our side bend on the opposite side. And once again, trying to shine the heart open towards the sky. And as well, we're keeping both sit bones on the ground so that we're not leaning over like that. We're nice and grounded with our yoga mat. And we're going to flow back and forth through that movement just a few times. So bringing the left hand down to the ground and extending up towards the sky. And just following your breath as you flow back and forth. And when you're ready, just coming back to center. So we're going to transition here onto our hands and our knees. we're going to come into some cow poses to just help warm up the spine. So we're going to make sure that our wrists are underneath our shoulders and that our knees are directly under our hips. Try to have a nice neutral spine here. So spread the fingers nice and wide. I'm excited about something. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. We're going to arch the spine, starting with the tailbone and looking off into the distance, still trying to maintain your full deep breath here. And on the next exhale, starting to round the spine, rounding the shoulders. So this resembles the scary Halloween cat. And we're just going to flow back and forth through that movement, following your own natural breath. The practice of yoga and meditation helps us to not be so distracted by the things that are going on around us, like barking dogs. So when you're ready, just coming back to a neutral spine, we're going to bring our right hand to the middle of the mat. Still trying to spread the fingers nice and wide. And we're going to extend that other hand up towards the sky. Feeling a nice stretch across the shoulders. And we're going to extend the arm through underneath, just feeling a nice stretch here. And then extending back up towards the sky. And one more time, reaching through and extending up towards the sky. And exhaling, coming back down. We're going to place the hand, place the left hand in the middle of the mat now. And we're going to extend the right hand up towards the sky. And then extending that arm through, flowing with your natural breath. And when you're ready, coming back to center, just coming back into that tabletop pose. Just realigning the spine, being mindful. So from here, we're going to lift the left hand and extend it out in front of us. This is a bit of a balancing pose. So you can stay here if you want, or you can extend the right leg out behind you. And take a little balancing pose. Okay, that's not going to work. Okay, thank you. No, thank you. Sit, 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 sit. Go on your bed. No, no, no. We're trying to have a yoga class. Okay, sorry about that. You don't have to hold it quite that long. So coming back into our tabletop pose. Oh, this is... Okay, yes, where's your ball? Go get your ball. Where is it? Go find it, go on. Okay, we're gonna replace, we're gonna do the opposite side. Sorry, got a little distracted there. We're gonna extend the right arm out in front of us and extend the left leg back. So this is supposed to help balance the left and right sides of the brain, so they say. I don't know if it actually does, but you should feel a nice stretch in the abdomen. Trying to keep that navel in towards the spine, still breathing. And when you're ready, just gently returning to center. So from here, we're going to bring the toes together and extend the knees out as the width of the yoga mat. And we're going to come into child's pose. So just resting the hips back, extending the arms out long. focusing on your breathing. And this is a nice pose to come to at any time throughout the practice. It's also good for hiding from your dog. So from here, we're going to slowly start to walk the hands over to the right side. And you should feel a nice stretch along the side of the body. So if you're finding your breath is becoming a little shallow, it means maybe you need to walk your hands back a little towards the middle of the mat. And that's okay. We're all going through a rough time right now, so we have to be gentle with ourselves. And then slowly walking the hands to the other side of the mat. Maintaining the full deep breaths. And slowly walking the hands back to center. We're going to bring the knees together here. We're going to make sure our fingers are spread nice and wide. We're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to gently make our way up to our first downward facing dog. So we want to make sure the fingers are spread nice and wide because it helps with any tension in the wrists. And we're going to gently start to lift the hips up towards the sky. And don't worry if your feet don't touch the ground. That's okay, mine don't. So we're simultaneously lifting the tailbone up towards the sky while bringing the heels towards the ground. And you can have a slight bend in the knees if that feels better for you. Now, if this doesn't feel good for you at all, you can do this on the forearms. And if that's still uncomfortable, you can always come down to child's pose. So child's pose can be arms extended out long, or even just resting the arms back. If you're up in downward facing dog, you might want to pedal out the feet to just warm up the hamstrings. And so from here, we're going to look towards our hands and slowly walk the feet up towards the front of the mat, coming into a forward bend. So from here, we're going to bring the hands to the shins, shoulders down and away from the ears with a flat back. And exhale, fold back towards the yoga mat, bending the knees as generously as you need to here. We're all getting the same benefits. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Just make sure it feels good for you and your body. And on the next breath, we're going to inhale the arms up. And exhale, bringing the hands through heart center. I'm going to turn and face this way so I can see you all, or so that you can see me. I can't see you. So from here, we're going to just make sure that our feet are about shoulder width apart. Or not shoulder width apart, sorry, hip width apart. And we're going to keep the knees nice and soft. We don't want to lock the knees here. So keeping the knees soft, we're going to bring the navel in towards the spine, standing up nice and tall. Trying to keep the shoulders down and away from the ears. So oftentimes we're at our computers like this, and we want to make sure that we have our shoulders nice and open. And our crown is lifting up towards the sky. I'm just bringing the hands at our sides, palms facing forward. This is our mountain pose. So mountain pose sets the foundation for a lot of our other yoga poses because we want to keep our chest open. We want to have our heart shining towards the sky, crown towards the sky, trying to keep shoulders down and away from the ears. It's a lot to remember, but that's why we practice this pose because it helps us with our other poses. Django agrees apparently. So you should feel very strong and rooted in this position. And from here, we're going to inhale the arms up towards the sky. And we're gonna gently take hold of our right wrist, left wrist, left wrist. And we're gonna slowly take a little side bend on the next breath. So you should still be maintaining your full deep breaths here. And on the next inhale, coming back up. And then taking a hold of the opposite wrist. And on the next exhale, gently taking that side bend. And inhale, coming back to center. And then we're going to extend the hands back down to our sides. I'm going to turn this way. So inhaling the arms up. And exhale, coming down into our forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to here. We're going to step back with the right leg, coming into a backward lunge here. And then you can bring that knee down to the ground. Try not to kick the dog here. Maybe I need to just slide forward a little bit. We don't want to wake him up when he's behaving. So framing the front foot with your hands. You should feel a nice stretch in that hip flexor there. And we're going to extend the arms up towards the sky. Still maintaining full deep breaths here. And we can open the hands out to the sides, feeling a nice stretch across the front of the chest. Django's not happy about this. Get your ball, Django. And then inhaling the arms up towards the sky. We're going to bring the hands down to frame that front foot. And we're going to gently extend the left leg. You may have a bit of a bend in the knee, and that's okay, because this is a hamstring stretch and it feels pretty intense for me. If you've been sitting all day, these can tighten up. So again, trying to maintain full deep breaths throughout this practice. And that might mean that your leg is a little more bent, and that is okay. You're still getting benefits from the practice. And when you're ready, coming back into that lunge position. And framing that front foot. We're going to step foot back. Curl the toes under. And once again, coming up into our downward facing dog. And once again, you can come down to the forearms or come into child's pose, whatever is feeling best for you. And when you're ready, slowly walking the hands towards the feet towards the front of the mat, coming into our forward fold. And inhale, coming into our flat back, shoulders down and away from the ears. And exhale, fold. And then inhale, coming all the way back up, extending the arms up. Exhaling, bringing the hands through heart center. Taking a moment to just focus on the breath once again. And we're going to do our lunge on the opposite side. So inhaling the arms up. And exhale, folding down. Remembering to bend the knees as generously as you need to here. So this time we're going to step back with the left leg. And then bringing that left leg down towards the ground, framing the right leg. And then extending the arms up towards the sky, feeling a nice stretch in that hip flexor. Hopefully this leg is straight out behind us, not off to the side. You may have to have a little look at it just to make sure. And it helps if your legs are on two different tracks so that you have a little better balance. So exhaling, opening the arms, feeling a nice stretch across the front of the chest. And inhaling the arms back up, framing that front foot, and then gently walking hands back and slowly straightening that right leg just to wherever it feels comfortable for you. And this leg might feel different from the other leg, and that's okay. We should always be accepting of where we are in our bodies at any given time. Things change from one day to the next in life and in our body, mind, and spirit as well. The practice of yoga helps us to accept these things. By turning our attention inward, we start to have greater self-acceptance. And then gently walking that knee back into a bent position, extending the arms up, feeling that stretch in the hip flexor one more time, and then framing that front leg, stepping the leg back, curling the toes under, again making sure the fingers are spread nice and wide, lifting the hips up towards the sky, coming into our downward facing dog. Or you can stay down in child's pose, or you can be in forearm, on the forearms for this downward facing dog as well. Yogi's choice. And when you're ready, slowly bringing the knees down to the mat. And then walking the hands back up. We're going to take a pose. This can be a little bit intense on the toes, but we're going to curl the toes under and sit back on the heels. So it's a nice stretch for the feet, but if you've been in shoes a lot, it can feel a little bit intense. So once again, trying to maintain full deep breaths, and if it's too intense, then just don't come so far down. I find that pose pretty intense myself, but it is a very nice stretch for the feet. Okay, so from here we're going to make our way down to onto our backs. It's not quite time for Shavasana, but we're going to do a few more things. So just gently making your way down to your back. Hopefully there's not going to be a dog licking me while I'm down on this position. It's been known to happen when my eyes are closed. So from here you can have your legs bent. Feet are about hip width apart. Feet are flat on the mat. So from here we're going to bring the right knee into the chest, and we're going to let that left leg extend out long, flexing both feet. You should feel a nice stretch here. And once again, trying to maintain full deep breaths. And we're going to release the right leg, extending it out long. And when you're ready, gently bring the left leg in towards the chest, flexing both feet. I think he's finally behaving now, so that's good. He appears to be lying on the couch. And when you're ready, gently releasing that leg. And once again, bending both feet so that both feet are flat on the floor. Feet are about hip width apart. We're going to bring the right knee or the right ankle and place it over the left knee, keeping both feet flexed. And we're going to reach through and take a hold of either the back of the thigh or the shin, wherever it feels comfortable for you. And we're going to pull that leg in towards the chest, feeling a nice stretch in the hip. Just where it feels good, just to your own degree. Still trying to maintain full deep breaths. So that they say that tension in the hips is related to tension in the jaw. So whenever I do this pose, my jaw always feels better. You might notice the same thing too. And when you're ready, gently releasing the legs, placing both feet flat on the floor, knees are bent, and then bringing the left ankle across the right knee, flexing the foot. Oh dear. I guess Django doesn't like this pose. He's got something to say about it. And then once again, taking a hold of either the back of the thigh or the shin, and bringing that leg in towards the chest. Feeling a nice stretch in the hip. So this leg may feel quite different for you. I know it does for me. And that's okay. We work towards having balance on both sides of the body. We work towards having balance in our lives as well, which is a little bit difficult right now. But hopefully through our practice, we can find a little more peace with it. And then gently releasing the legs. Once again, placing both feet on the floor, knees are bent. This time we're gonna bring the hips over towards the left side of our mat so that there's a bit of a curve to our spine. And then from here, we're gonna let the legs fall over to the opposite side, so to the right side, coming into a reclining twist. So from here, you can extend the arms out into a T or a V, or leave them at your sides, wherever it feels comfortable for you. So if you feel any numbness or tingling with your arms in the T or V position, just be mindful of how that feels. And just bring your hands to where it feels comfortable for you. These twists can feel so nice on the body after sitting for a long time. And then gently returning to center, straightening out the spine. Knees are bent. So this time we're going to bring the hips over to the right side of the mat. So there's a little curve in the spine here, and then letting the knees fall to the left side of the mat. And then once again, extending the arms out into a T or a V, or bringing them at your sides. Just making sure that you're not feeling any numbness or tingling. If you are, just come back to resting pose, lying on your back. Always being mindful of where your body is today. And when you feel ready, Just gently bringing the legs back to center, straightening out the spine. From here, we're going to come into our final resting pose. So we're going to extend the legs out long and keep them as wide as the yoga mat, if that feels comfortable for you. Just trying to relax the spine here, and then with the hands at the sides, opening the palms up towards the sky. This is our final resting pose. So don't skip this pose. This is one of the most important parts of the practice, where we do a little meditation and rest and be grateful to ourselves for doing our practice and being committed to our practice. One of the hardest things can be to turn off the mind, and that's why I like to do a little reading. So I'm just going to do a little reading while you're enjoying your final resting pose. When the journey is uphill, you will find your strength. When there are obstacles on your path, you will find a way. When it seems like all is lost, look again. Sometimes it's hard for us to see that love is all around, but look how far you've come. Look how strong you are now. Love is always within you. Find your peace even on your hardest days and enjoy the journey. If thoughts come and go while you're in your resting pose, that's okay. It seems impossible to make the mind blank when there's so much going on. But it is important for us to find a little bit of stillness and peace. And give our mind, body, and spirit a little break. And slowly starting to bring your awareness back to the space that you're in. Feeling the mat beneath you. Becoming aware of your surroundings. Slowly wiggling fingers and toes. And bringing gentle movement back to the body. feeling that your mind, body, and spirit are in perfect alignment for you. And whenever you feel ready, slowly rolling over to your right side. And slowly making your way back up to a seated position. And there's no rush here. Always moving slowly and mindfully. And once you're back, we'll just take one breath together to close our practice today. So inhaling the arms up and exhaling, bringing the hands through to heart center. The light in me honors the light in all of you and every soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining the practice today. Thank yourself for taking the time to find some stillness and peace throughout your day. It's so important for us right now to make sure that we are gentle with ourselves, gentle with the world around us. It's a stressful time, so we all have to take care of ourselves. It's so important. And thank you for putting up with my crazy dog, who has now taken up a nice spot sleeping on the couch. Hope to see you again next week. Bye.